speeds far above the exceeded top speeds there on the freeway. We understand he's headed southbound on the loop, the west loop. Is that what I've been told? I'm trying to figure out where exactly he is, but he is moving along at a really good pace here, right there on the shoulder, just squeezing by those other vehicles. And southbound at the north belt right now, and this is where he's going to be running into a lot more traffic, but he is barely squeezing by there next to that shoulder and as well that barrier on the right hand side. But we'll see if he's going to be running into even more traffic as well. It started shortly before 5 p.m. and we are not sure why he's running, but apparently it was from a traffic stop that it started there, that he did not stop after police were trying to pull him over. He's hitting 290 now, I understand. Oh, he stopped because there was a vehicle right there on the shoulder. So he's now had to move out of that area, and now he's into regular traffic. But he is approaching 290, I understand, and he must be on okay, now he's on the left shoulder, clearly, but 290 is coming up, and if he's going to be taking a detour on 290, you know he's going to be running into a lot of traffic. There is a lot of traffic on this freeway eventually if he continues to head southbound as well. But clearly heading at a really high rate of speed here, passing all traffic around him. We haven't been able to get a good look of the police officers who are chasing him, but presumably there are several behind him. But again, this is rush hour, so he may be running into a lot more traffic here really, really soon. Now, this is the interchange of 290. Is that correct, David? Okay, we're trying to discover just exactly where he is, but I believe that was a 290 interchange. And if that's the case, if he's on the loop, then he's going to be headed south. He's on the Beltway near 290, so if he's on the Beltway headed southbound, he's really not going to hit all that much traffic until he gets way south, closer to the west side. But the Beltway at this hour, pretty open, especially if you're on the northwest side. So if he just crossed 290, then he's just headed southbound right now on the Beltway, but really moving along at a good clip here. And so very dangerous, because you start moving along like this and you don't know what's going to happen next, because already he nearly slammed into the back of a vehicle. Okay, well, if he's taking the shoulder there, I thought he was perhaps going to be getting off for a moment, but it doesn't look like he's going to be getting off. I think those are just the easy tag lanes there that he ran through on the south loop. Don Armstrong, you've been watching this for some time, so this guy is out of control. I mean, he is really moving along.
He is, Art. As a matter of fact, a lot of police cars behind him. I don't want to take the camera off of the actual vehicle that's being chased right now for fear that we might miss something here. But as you can see, traffic is slowing here, and traffic is going to slow even more the further south we get over here on the West Sam Houston Tollway. We are slowing down now, as a matter of fact, and he's zigzagging around traffic, passing people on the shoulder, as you can see.
Okay. Sooner
or later. Go ahead, Art.
No, I was just going to mention the exit right there, Clay Road, but he's bound to run into more traffic the further south he goes here, because the west side, as you can clearly see right here, is beginning to pile up.
That's exactly right. This is always a heavy area in the afternoon, especially as you approach I-10, the Katy Freeway down here. We are heading southbound on the West Sam Houston Tollway. He's already blown through one toll booth, and he's got another one coming up. We'll see what he does here when he gets to I-10. In that lane, he's not going to be able to exit.
Yeah.
He's really going to be hung up once he gets down there to the Memorial toll booth.
You know, this is just so frightening, Don, as we have seen these numerous times, and when they're moving along this fast, and then suddenly a vehicle, goes in front of them, I mean, you have real trouble here. You know, it appears, Don, that and I don't know if you can focus in on that driver's side window, it appears that thing is shattered. Or is that just, no, that's a visor, never mind. The window is down in the visor, so he's catching a little air as he's cruising along here. But wow, he is just moving along really fast, and we're trying to figure out why he was running to begin with. It started as a traffic stop, is that right, Don?
Don't know about the traffic stop, Art. I do know that we picked up the chase right there near the Sam Houston Race Park off of Veterans Memorial.
Okay.
And we first heard that he was going to go eastbound, but instead we picked him up coming toward us, and we had to make a 180 to catch up with him here. At that time, he was doing about 100 miles an hour. Now he's slowed down a little bit, but when you're passing cars that are moving at 10, 20 miles an hour at that speed, you know that there's a lot of danger involved in that. No telling who's up here on the shoulder. It could be a stalled vehicle up here. There's going to be some issues coming up, and we're just standing by waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? As he's moving along there next to those other vehicles who are nearly at a standstill or even stopped, I mean, he is so very close to them. If they would open up their door, then they're going to be knocked. It's going to be immediately knocked out. But wow! And so he was reaching initially speeds of up to 100 miles an hour, and I know that chopper, you can't, sometimes you'll lose people if they go over above 110 or so.
That's right. Well, we haven't lost him. As a matter of fact, at one point we had to slow down to just maintain our distance from him.
Right.
So his speed has slowed down just a bit, but there's no way he's going to get out of it. And again, we have talked about this, you and I, on the air. Why these people decide to run from the law is unbelievable to me. Now he's taking the exit ramp, and if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be, let's see which one this is.
Oh boy.
I think that this is the one to the Katy Freeway.
This is, this is, whoa, look at him go, squeezing in and out of traffic there, zigzagging his way. There he goes. This is the one to, well, he's going to be taking either Katy, he's either going to be going west or east here. Is that, whoa, he's slamming on the brakes, and now he's going east,
inbound
right?
Inbound now on I-10.
All right, now he's eastbound, as you say, and he, I don't know if he's trying to fool police or not, but he slammed on his brakes, making that quick maneuver to go east instead of west on the Katy. And now he's going to be headed inbound, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
We're passing, yes, we're passing the shopping mall here.
You know, Don, and you're absolutely right. We see this time and time again, but they just can't get away. I mean, you have a slew of officers, of course, behind him. Not only that, but of course you have the officers in the air. They are monitoring us, as the only chopper here is bringing you Sky Eye HD here. They consistently monitor us as well, and so we know exactly where this guy is. But this guy, you can't get away from aerial shots like this. All right, I-10 and Gessner coming up here. So he is headed eastbound into town, and the further he goes eastbound here, the more traffic he's going to be running into, Don.
That's right, Art. This is the HOV. You see he's on the left side of those pylons. He mowed over a couple of them when he got into this lane. But he'll be able to exit that lane just by mowing over some more of those pylons.
Now, so he is, that's the HOV headed east. Now, at some point, does the HOV only head west since it's outbound, or is it, he's going to have to at some point get off?
Well, it does go under the 610 West Loop, and it does have its own, lanes.
Yeah. Well, he's been traveling around at really high speeds, and at one point, just to update the audience here, Don Armstrong, our live Sky Eye pilot there, indicated that he was traveling over 100 miles an hour, so as he was trying to follow him in the chopper. But he has not stopped, slowed down, or really done anything to try and give any hint that he's willing to give this up. He has just been zigzagging his way in and out of traffic, slowly getting to the shoulder there.
To give you an idea of the speed, Art, the cars on the Katy Freeway are probably doing about 60 miles an hour.
Okay.
He's blowing by them, so he's probably doing 85.
Wow. Yeah, so if he's been doing 85, 90 miles an hour, and there's an officer right behind him, we don't know if he's been able to lose any of those officers, but, because he's been making some pretty quick maneuvers here. He's approaching Bingle now. He probably just passed it. So, again, I-10 eastbound, headed into town now. He's going to be eventually coming right along the West Loop, which shouldn't be too far away, right, Don?
That's right, Art. He is approaching that underpass. He stays in the HOV lane. As you can see, he continues to mow down those pylons, those white sticks that stick up, that divide the HOV lane from the main lanes.
Yeah, that's if you see debris sort of flying around next to the. Whoa, looks like he just about.
Is he slowing down? Art, I think he may be slowing down. Looks like he's going to.
Oh,
is he going to bail here?
He's dumping someone. He's just bailing right now. He's trying to at least. There he goes. I saw something go left, scream left. There he is. Now he's running across the freeway on the west side. Talk about a crazed man. Here there are 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count at least 5 here, Don. All right, push in just a bit here. Let's see where these guys are going to go. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you have some officers there. You just have them. He just jumped into the bushes there. You have all the officers. There he goes. That's the man they're after. And you have at least 5 officers chasing him. Doing it by foot now. Let's see how long he lasts. Let's see how strong his lungs are. All right, now he's reaching a fence. Let's see if he's going to try and leap this thing. He's up and over. There he goes. Now let's see where he heads. I don't see any officers behind him. They may have decided to wait it out over there on the west side lanes of the I-10 freeway, but now he's running across the field. Where is he, Don?
This is a retention pond, Art, that is just to the north of I-10, the Katy Freeway. He's on the north side, and looks like there is some sort of a bayou here. I don't know whether he's run out of breath or I mean he's trying to hide, but obviously we're on top of him. HPD knows where he is,
right?
So he's not going to get very far.
All right, now he's going through a creek and through the creek, and we got a regular foot chase here going on. But I don't see any officers nearby. But let's not try and find them. Let's stick on this guy because you wonder how long he's going to last. An incline
I'm hoping
there.
that I don't lose him in the trees here,
yeah,
Art.
Let's hope we don't. Really into a thicket there of trees, and this is on the west, or this is on the north side of I-10, where he's literally raced across westbound traffic on the I-10 as you're approaching the loop there, the west loop. And then he got into the thicket after running across the retention pond, and now he's somewhere there in the brush. Are we talking about a neighborhood here? I see homes.
Art, there is a lot of homes here.
Okay. Is this the memorial area?
For those
then?
people that are, well, I'm sorry?
Is this the memorial area?
We're very close to the memorial area. We're on the north side. We're on the north side of I-10.
All right, so he's somewhere either in there or around in that area with the homes, and we're trying to figure out where he might be. But he got into some really thick brush there, and we're just trying to monitor and find out where he is. No doubt they're going to be releasing the dogs at some point. But again, just to get you geographically aligned here, he was on the Katy Freeway, headed eastbound, approaching the West Loop, when he bailed from his vehicle while the vehicle was moving, jumped and raced across the westbound traffic lanes of the Katy Freeway. Now he is on the north side of the Katy Freeway. So he is on the north side of the freeway. He went across a retention pond, and now he's into some neighborhood. This is not too far from the memorial area, but we have not been able to spot him since he went through that creek and got into the thicket of trees here. But you know what, Don? I didn't see, once he went through that retention pond area, I didn't see any officers, close at foot there.
Well, remember, he jumped off. He jumped off of the freeway, Art.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Down,
and they didn't follow him after that leap of faith, did they?
And for our viewers here in this neighborhood just north of the Katy Freeway, I would definitely stay inside and lock your doors at this point because we don't know if he is armed or not.
Yeah, that's certainly good advice because we don't know, where he has been, even why he's running, but clearly he's running away from the law. And in a situation like that, so if you are in this neighborhood, and we're trying to get a clear look at what this neighborhood is called, but it's just north of I-10, just past the retention pond, outside of the loop. So that's the area we're looking at. And is that the police chopper that just flew by that's still looking around for him as well?
Art, as you saw, HPD is on the scene.
Yeah.
We've had to raise.
Now I see some folks way over there on the right-hand side if you move to the right a bit, just on the other side of the creek, they may be, they're just officers probably getting through the creek there. But again, we are searching for a man who has been on the run from police for quite some time now. It started just before 5 o'clock and reaching speeds of well over 100 miles, zigzagging his way through northeast Houston, and finally coming to a stop after nearly clipping so many vehicles in just some extremely dangerous maneuvers here. He bailed from that vehicle while it was headed eastbound on the I-10 freeway, the Katy freeway. He ran across the westbound freeway during traffic, while traffic was flowing there, but there was a lot of traffic, so they were fortunately going slow enough. He went across that freeway and then across this creek, and we know that he passed the creek, at least on a shallow end. It looked like it may have been like knee deep or so. Then he went up a sharp incline, and right there are the officers.
The palm tree.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a very steep incline.
Yeah, and you see the officers on your lower right there. You can see them sort of looking around on the other end there. There they are, yeah, a couple of them there. Trying to figure out where this guy went. But who knows where he may be. I mean, he could have gone into the neighborhood, or he could just be sort of hanging out in that brush because it's pretty thick. And we haven't seen anyone on the streets over there in that neighborhood, but the thicket there is pretty solid, isn't it, Don?
It is, Art. It's very thick. A lot of landscaping in the backyards as well. A lot of places to hide in here.
Now, Don, have we figured out the name of that neighborhood? I mean, we know it's outside the loop and north of I-10.
We have not. We understand that the K-9 units have arrived, so...
Okay. All right, so the K-9 units are out, and they're going to be setting the dogs loose, and we'll see if they're able to find anything, and generally they do. And when you have a K-9 unit, they don't mess around, do they, Don? Okay, you were looking at a situation here, and that presumably is that the West Loop then, Don, that we're looking at on the top of the screen? Or is my geography here sort of messed up, because that couldn't be the I-10. Is that the I-10? Maybe the I-10, the Katy freeway there. Again, we are looking for a man on the run who simply took a leap of faith over a bridge, and he clearly made it, and he was able to survive that fall. And then he was able to run across that retention pond, not filled with water, and then run into the thicket here of the brush after crossing a pond about knee deep. And now he's somewhere there in the thicket, but the K-9 units are out, and they're going to be on the scene here very quickly here. And police already monitoring that neighborhood. So if you're in this vicinity of this neighborhood here, if this is your neighborhood, keep your doors locked. This guy is presumably dangerous because he's been running from the law for nearly an hour, or about an hour now. And he was, it was a regular traffic stop apparently, and he just bolted and wanted to get away, and he zigzagged his way in and out of, well, all the vehicles and traffic on the northwest side, racing down the Beltway. And there you have police officers on this side of the creek as well as the other side of the creek searching for this guy. All right, so we're looking at live pictures, and in a moment we're going to be showing you some of the dramatic scenes from this race, and when he pulled over as well and bailed from the vehicle. And all right, let's take a look now. This is just after he had gotten loose, all the officers chasing him. You see him, there he goes. He takes that leap right off the edge there, and that was at least a 10 to 15, who knows, maybe even 20-foot drop there. Then he goes across the feeder road. Again, this is the feeder road for the I-10. The feeder road is headed westbound. He's taking a run for this and nearly exhausted at this point. But see, the officers stayed back. They didn't take that leap off the bridge. So he's able to clear this fence, and then he runs across the retention pond here, used to just for flooding purposes. But our lack of drought, our drought here is causing that thing to dry up quickly. Anyway, so he goes across the retention pond here, and then he gets into the thicket of the brush, and that's where he crosses the pond as well.
We cannot
Don, anything else that we were just showing some file footage of what had taken place earlier, but you know what, Don, we're going to go ahead and head back to World News at this point. We're going to have much more on this on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned. We'll have the complete chase for you on Eyewitness News at 6. Until then, I'm Art Rascone. Have a good evening.
And that breaking news surrounds the arrest of the driver at the center of this evening's high-speed chase. And good evening, friends. I'm Dave Ward.
And I'm Alona Carson in tonight for Gina Gast. And that chase ended near the intersection of I-10 and Wirt Road. Eyewitness News reporter Jessica Willey is there live with the breaking details. Jessica?
Yeah, Alona, within the last hour, Denise Palm, the subject of that police chase, as well as a lengthy search tonight, was taken into custody. We are told he was not armed, though he didn't necessarily go without a show. Accused armed robber Denise Palm yelled at reporters across the street as he was put into a patrol car. A half-dozen officers surrounded him, the end to a 3.5-hour search that had them, with guns drawn, taking over the Hickory Shadows neighborhood.
We've located him. He is in custody right now, so obviously the neighborhood's a lot safer.
The search for Palm, the aftermath of a 20-minute police chase that started on the northwest side. HPD robbery detectives say they spotted the 22-year-old, a suspect in a number of violent robberies, and he took off. The van reached high speeds along a busy beltway. It then headed eastbound at I-10. Nearing the Wirt exit, the driver bailed out, ran across the freeway, and then jumped 40 feet to the ground. His getaway into nearby woods and across a bayou where police lost him. Hours later, canines returned, zeroed in, finally finding him in a heavily wooded field behind high-dollar homes.
According to the suspect, we passed him a couple of times, but that's very easy to do. Thank God he's in custody right now.
And HPD robbery detectives believe Palm and this man, Trayvon Ball, were behind a violent robbery early Thursday morning in the Galleria area. They're accused of robbing 4 people then at gunpoint and putting all of them in the trunks of 2 cars. In fact, investigators believe they might be responsible for as many as 7 home invasions and armed robberies, all on the west side. Their crime spree, say detectives, now over. Live tonight in Spring Branch, Jessica Willey, 13 Eyewitness News.